All right, as we're coming back from break, I will ask Gary to tell you guys two things, and Gary, I'm going to stick this mic in your face so that when they're watching the research, they can also hear it. So you can turn around if you want to.
Two things Jill wanted me to mention. I mentioned with some of you, the self-talk card used to come in all the Ziegler materials. If you Google Ziegler self-talk, comes up, the Christian version and the regular. I also understand it may be on back office. Not sure. Card. Self-talk card. But what I do, if I do a workshop or a keynote, I print those out and I give one to everyone and I show them how to use it. And what I'm doing with that is encouraging them to start. I say, everything I shared with you is great, but it's actually no good if you don't start today. I say, you now have the most valuable piece of paper you'll ever have in your hand.
How do you work this?
And I show them how to use it. And say, take it home. I said, I dare you to start tonight. And you call me in 3 weeks and tell me if your life hasn't changed for the better.
The one that's in the back office is a PDF file that will print on back and front.
Nice.
You can print it
All right.
two-sided, and it actually has little hash marks, so if you want to cut it on a paper cutter, you can. I can be bribed in certain situations.
We talked about having some reminders and some tangibles and some giveaways. That's a free one.
Yeah, and it's powerful. I tell people this is life-changing, and all it is a piece of paper.
And then the other thing is, on the slideshow, we quote, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. And we quoted as Joe Sava, and some of you are like, I thought Zig Ziglar said that. Zig was very clear whenever he quoted it, that Joe was the one that said it. So Gary had a fun little something about that. If you guys didn't see his Facebook post, I just wanted to tell you about it.
Yeah, it was fun. I was going to be doing a BBY keynote for one of our churches in our conference. And so I went there, and before it started, one of the ladies, wife of one of the doctors, came up to me and said, I'm so glad you're here. She said, do you know Joe Saba? I said, well, I know who he is. I use his quote all the time. She said, that's my brother. I said, are you serious? Because I've known her for years. I said, that's your brother? Yeah, where does he live? He lives in Colorado now. She said, I called him and told him you were going to be doing this tonight. He's all excited about it. And I think he'd like you to contact him. And so I did it that night, and she was like, this was wonderful. Everybody loved it, and she gave me his contact information. So I gave him a call, and he answered, and he was thanking me for what I do. And it's like to him it was a privilege to talk to me. I'm thinking it's not backwards. And I said, yeah, he said, so understand then what I've been saying is going all around the world because of you guys. I said, yeah. And he's a very humble man, and he was asking me, getting my advice on things. I'm thinking, he's asking me. But he's in his 80s now. He's in his 80s now and still trying to do stuff with speaking and so on.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
That was fun. Well, that was fun. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to continue in the Building the Best You. You've gone all the way through the sources of input, and then Carl turned into Toni Cooper, and Tony's going to take us through some of that information. So let's welcome Toni Cooper.
Before I start, it's really strange to just build. It's kind of fun, really. Just so if you can tag team, it's a blast. All right, so first I need 2 volunteers. Thank you, Tracy and Cassie. Come on. Give them a big round of applause. All right, Cassie, you stand on this side. Tracy, you stand. Tracy, can you tell us, there's a garbage can on the ground here. Can you tell us what's inside of it? Give us some general information. Okay, tell me what's... All right, anybody else want to volunteer? What's inside of it? Yes.
Okay, I see plastic, I see paper, I see cups, plates.
There's a lot of air. There's a lot of garbage. Would you agree? There's a lot of garbage.
Yeah, a lot of garbage.
All right, can you pick it up? Yeah, pick it up.
The can or the
can. Pick up the can.
All right.
All right, Tracy. On the count of 3, I want you to take that garbage can and I want you to dump it over Cassie's head. 1, 2, 3. How come you don't want to do that? Cassie, would you want him to do that?
Not really, no.
Why not? Why not? Why not? Why not?
Because that's used garbage, and I don't want that
You don't want it all over
my
you?
dress, all over my hair. No.
Okay. If I put Matt here, would you? No, I'm just kidding. No. So, Tracy, why don't you want to take garbage and just dump it? Why not?
It's unethical.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Thank you guys for volunteering. If I had a prize, I'd give you guys one. I don't have one. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Okay. So who here by a show of hands, who here wants garbage dumped all over their heads? Come on now. Nobody? Well, here's something interesting. We just got done talking about input, but there's this one input that affects us more than any other input. Anybody know what that is? I'll give you a clue. You look at it in the mirror every day. Yourself, right? So you're not going to allow people to dump garbage all over your head. But every single solitary day, what do? We dump garbage on our head. Every single day, we allow garbage to come into our minds. Every single day, we let garbage come in. Instead of saying, I'm not going to let that happen. Thank goodness Tracy didn't do it, because that would have goodness. All of us, at least at some point in our lives, have said something negative to ourselves. Would you agree? Yeah. Something like, I can't do this, I don't, whatever it is. So in front of you, you have these little index cards. I'd like you to take one index card. And I want you to take a pen, and take a moment and think about what's that one thing. What is that one thing that you hear yourself saying that's negative? Now don't worry, you won't have to share it with anybody else in the room. I promise. Okay? So think of that one thing. Now if you can't think of anything that you've ever said to yourself that's negative, bravo to you. Okay? But pull deep, and is there anything that you've ever said to yourself that's negative, or that you say to yourself on a regular basis? Write it down. Then we're going to talk about that, Miss Julie, later on today. What I find interesting is some people are writing a book, and some are just staring, going, there's no negativity in my life, which I think wonderful. Okay. If you need some help, for those of you that are having trouble, maybe you said something as simple as, I can't do it. Maybe you said something as simple as, I'm not. Something like that. All right, now when I say go, now the key here is when I say go. You're going to stand up. You're going to rip that into as many pieces as you can. Then you're going to try to crumble it in your hands into a nice ball. And then you're going to throw it, not at me, into this garbage can. Now, if those of you in the back can't make it in the garbage can, it's okay. We'll clean it up later. Okay? So I want you to rip it up. Oh, yeah, I want this ceremonial, tear that negativity up. Tear it up.
Did you say go?
There was no go yet. Oh, you got me. You got me, Ken. All right, now stand up, everybody. Now, if those of you in the front don't make the basket, we have a remedial basketball. No, I'm just kidding. All right, are you ready? On your mark, get set, go. helped him out on that one. Oh, Nikki, hold on here.
Sun got my eyes.
What's the significance of doing that? Why do we do it? We're getting rid of the negativity, right? Yeah. We're taking all the garbage that we dump into our minds. Uh-oh, I pushed the wrong button. Can you fix that for me? Whatever, I pushed the wrong button. Jill will fix it. Oh, on this computer? I don't have to do it on that one? Oh, I could have done it. I thought I had to use that computer.
Oh, that's even better. I don't know that one. So next time you do that.
I thought I had to go to that back computer.
No, that didn't work. You gotta play.
It's only 2 rows back.
You gotta play.
So which button is it? It's this one. This one?
Yes.
He's not making eye contact. These are not billable hours. It's like my inner dialogue came out.
You are proud of Jill right now, aren't you?
I'm very proud.
Let's give Jill a round of applause. So all this negativity that we allow garbage dumping in, right? We're going to call this thing stinky thinking. And the key to this is we're not going to allow this to happen anymore. We're not going to allow the negativity to dump in. And that's what we're going to talk about for the next hour or so is a process and a plan to start changing our mindset from a negative mindset to a positive mindset. My goal is that when we're done after this hour, you guys now have some techniques, some tools that you can then, every time that negativity pops up, you can switch it and turn it into something positive. And that you can help others who have that negativity turn it around and help them make it positive. So that's the goal. With that said, now that you've thrown this away, we now are creating a new zone in this classroom. The zone we're calling the no trash talk zone. You have entered the no, oh, did you just say, oh? There's the no trash talk zone. So when you hear somebody saying something negative about themselves in any way, shape, or form, you have my permission to put your hand in front of their face and say, this is no trash talk zone.
Well, we can't talk bad about someone else, right?
James, that's in an hour. As a side note, just so you guys are aware, there's something that I actually do have is I have miniature trash cans. So when I teach this at a company, this is a side note for a moment, but I have little miniature trash cans. They have a sticker on them that say no trash talk, and they put them at their desks, and the company creates that kind of environment. It's really fun. So it's a neat little thing to try. Yeah.
Where do you get them?
Okay, that will be next class after this. No, I'll tell you, but we'll talk about it after, okay?
Billable hours, man.
Oh, all right. I ordered them from a place called S&S, but I don't remember the exact thing, so I'll tell you after. How's that? Is that good, Miss Jill? But I just made the labels. So I just ordered little miniature trash cans. I just made the labels on the computer. It says no trash talk zone. Real simple.
I was just going to ask you if you had it printed with your information, your name, phone number, and stuff.
No, that's a great idea. Yes. As of today, I now have my company name on it and my website. Anything else? Anybody else? Okay. Where are we? The no trash talk zone. Welcome. We've entered the no trash talk zone. So with that said, from now on, there are no negative things allowed to say about yourself from this point forward. With that said, how do we do that? How do we change our mindset from a negative mindset to a positive mindset? That's what we're going to talk about. So if you turn to page 9 in your book. This is what we're going to do. What is the first thing some of you do when you wake up in the morning? Scream. Stretch. Okay, so now you're out of bed. Where do you go? To the bathroom. Some people are like, I have the coffee in the bathroom while it's all going at the same time. Okay. So you go to the restroom and you pass by this thing in your bathroom. How many of you look at it in the morning?
A mirror.
Yes, this mirror. How many of you look at it in the morning at some point? At some point, you're like, 3 hours after I get up, I finally look. So you look in the mirror, and how many of you walk past the mirror and go, ugh, what is that in front of the mirror? Never. Here's the beauty. The mirror is truly your friend. Those of you that know me, you know that I have this thing, the mirror is your friend. And the reason it's your friend is because it's the one person that is always going to listen to you, no matter what, right? You're always going to listen. They're never going to talk back, right? And the beauty is for you, it's amazing. You get a direct reflection speaking right. So if you, what is this? What did you just say to yourself? Go ahead, you can answer. You just trash talked it. You gave yourself no value. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn that. And to turn that, we need to come up with some positive things we could say about ourselves. Would you agree? Yeah. So you guys have a second index card. Grab that index card. On that second index card, we're going to do something called affirmations. Before you start writing them, we're going to talk about what a positive affirmation is, how to write it, what's the most effective way to write it. But an affirmation is something that you say to yourself on a regular basis until yourself believes it. So if your negative statement was, I am ugly, your positive affirmation is, I am beautiful. If your negative affirmation was something like, I'm never on time, your positive affirmation would be, I am punctual. If your negative one was, I'm not good enough, your positive one is, I can do anything with practice. I would add that practice in there. Because as Zig says, you can wake up tomorrow and say you want to be a heart surgeon, but I'm not going to let you do any surgery on my heart. Okay? So here's what I'd like you to do. These are the elements that make up a positive affirmation. If we look up here, this is what we're going to do. We're going to tell the truth in advance with affirmations. Affirmations are present tense. Right now, this is what you are. They're positive, that paint a picture of who you want to be. They may not be true, but they will be. We're taking the negative and we're changing it to positive. So I'm going to give you a few minutes. I'm going to let you write down your positive affirmations, and then we're going to do another activity with them. Because if you know me, you're not going to sit for an hour. So go ahead. I'd like you to write 3. Now, if you can't think of any, go back to what we did earlier when we were talking about what do we want to do and what do we want to improve on. So somebody put, I want to be a better follow-up. I want to be better at being disciplined. I want to be better at structure. You can just write, I am disciplined. I do follow up regularly. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Now, here's what you're going to do. When I say go, it's always on the go. You got that, Ken?
Yes, got it.
Okay. When I say go, you're going to run around the room. Okay, except for Tammy. She's going to walk.
Yeah, because running's not.
Right. You're going to find somebody that is not next to you, that you haven't been talking to all day, and you're going to read your affirmations to them. And they're going to read their affirmation to you. Out loud. You don't get to go, did you hear that? That's not allowed. So when I say go, you're going to go to somebody, read your affirmations. Now, if you don't know the person yet, go. Stand up, move around.
Who do I want to talk to?
Yes, sir.
This time we're going to
That was the case. Really cheap prizes we could give away. What do you want? I would go in my book and write them. Something that I just need like 3 or 4 cheap whatever we can get.
Just one.
Hey, have a seat! Chop, chop! Chop, 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 chop! See, that's it, I can voice my flexion. Yeah, it's right here. Woo! Sit down! I didn't bring my whistle. Sounds like a duck. It's really obnoxious. Yes, my son gave me this duck whistle. And it's shaped like a duck.
Our HR person has a big Aflac duck in his office.
So, how many of you loved talking about yourself to the other person?
I did. It's okay.
How many of you loved? Now, wait. How many of you loved listening to the other person and what they had to say?
Oh, yeah.
So here's the beauty of it. Here's the first step. First step, write them down, right? Return them from negative to positive. Our second step is to say them out loud. But here's the beauty. If you tell others, what do you think is going to happen?
You're going to believe it.
They're going to believe it, and they're going to make you accountable.
Yeah.
So something that's not in your book, right? Tell others. Okay, everybody take your pen, put it in your hand. Put it on your book, and write tell others. When we are willing to let other people know what our goal is, our positive affirmations, they're going to hold you to it. So if one of my positive affirmations, which is true right now, is to be more organized, so my affirmation is, I am organized. I have a schedule. I know you would really want me to do that. Then I let people know, and so that when I go off my schedule, they can hold me accountable and tell me, hey, I thought that's what you wanted to do. If one of yours was, I have a really good friend. She wasn't my friend until about 6 months ago. She attended an event that I did, and she had a horrible self-image. Horrible self-image. She, beautiful woman, but all she saw was ugly. All she saw was ugly. Everything in her, all she saw was ugly. She's going through a healing process that's beyond what the conversation we need to have. But beyond that, whenever she says, oh, I'm so ugly, I just don't like it, I go, you get to turn that around right now, right here and now. And what is it you got to say? She goes, oh, fine, I'm beautiful. I don't care how she says it. I'm holding her accountable. Because guess what? The more you say it, what happens? So your assignment, because you have homework, did I mention that? Your assignment is take that little index card, and when you get home, tape it to your bathroom mirror. And every single solitary day before you go to bed, and when you wake up, you say that positive affirmation. How many days do you think I want you to say it for?
30 days. 365 days.
Until you believe it.
Every day.
Until you
Every
believe
day.
it. Every day Every day. Until you believe it. So here's what we're going to do. I want you to pick one of those positive affirmations on your card. Just one. I'm not going to make anybody stand up right now, but I want all of you to stand up and at the exact same time say yours out loud. Ready? Set? Go. Good, have a seat. I think somebody said, I love you, blah, blah, blah. Does anybody want to come up here in the front and tell us what your card says? Oh, good, Nikki. Come on up. Give her a round of applause.
Oh, Nikki, you're so fun.
Play that.
My affirmation is I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me.
I have a prize for you for volunteering. Thank you.
I would have volunteered if you told me there was a prize.
Oh, I never tell you if there's a prize, because then you're only doing it for the prize. It's not good. If no one else, I don't need any more volunteers. I just wanted one. All right. That's your assignment. When you start changing the input that goes in your mind, if you change that source of input that we talked about earlier, that Carl talked about earlier, from all those sources of input we have, let's start with ourselves. What are we saying to ourselves? What's coming out of our mouths? Whatever that is, let's change it. When you hear something you're saying to yourself that's negative, turn it to positive. I will give you my story real quick. So most people know me as outgoing. It's not true. Maybe the people in my first class remember, but I'm really, really quiet. So the very first class, the person I was at the very first class to the person that I am now is a little different because I'm not outgoing until I know who you are. So if you put me in a room with 200 people, I'm the fly on the wall, observing everybody, figuring out who it is that I want to talk to, da-da-da-da. And then once I know everybody, okay, then I'll be outgoing, right? Well, with that, I found that there was a confidence. So when I started doing the Ziegler training, it was easy to train. It was hard to sell. How many people have that issue? Yeah. Okay, so it was hard to sell. But it wasn't the material that was hard to sell. It was hard to sell Toni. What I realized is when I get out of my own way and start seeing myself as a confident person, I can sell me all day long. All day long. What do you want from me? I'll give it to you. Not exactly. All right. But there's parameters there. Did I mention that? The point is I had an affirmation on every mirror in my house. And my 5-year-old, it drove him crazy, by the way, so I'll tell you that. But I had an affirmation on every mirror in my house, and I don't have that many, but I have a couple of bathrooms. So they were on each bathroom and in my closet. And basically it said, I am confident. That was number one. The second one was, people need my inspiration.
Wow, that's a good one.
It's still on there. I still see it all the time. Now here's my son. This is the best part. So I have a 5-year-old son who's just like me, truly. Once he knows you. Real, real quiet. Once he knows you, he'll be the love of your life. And he walked into the bathroom one day and he goes, Mommy, what are you doing? I said, I'm doing my positive affirmation for the day. And he goes, I am Superman. And then he goes, so that's what we do. Every morning now, I say, Andrew, what are you? I am Superman. So my 2-year-old, he has a speech issue, so he doesn't speak. So he just walks around and goes. So now we have positive affirmation Superman. Whatever works, right? Whatever works. The point is you're a role model. So the point is you're a role model. And with that said, your positive affirmations and what you say to yourself is a direct reflection of how you are treating other people. Would you agree? So the words that you choose, are they important?
Yes.
Especially with social media now. Especially. I remember being a corporate trainer 15 years ago and email was fairly new and talking about how you have to watch what you type. There's no tone of voice, none of that. Now everybody communicates through social media. We don't have the voice inflection and all of that. We only have words. So turn to page 10. if I introduced Pete and I said, this is Pete, you're not really going to like him because he's kind of quiet. What would happen?
I like him.
That's not true, by the way. You'll love him. Okay? Oh, Andy, I got to walk. This is what I have to do. Okay. Sorry. What if I say, this is Rodney. Rodney, he's a grouch, but that's okay. He'll get over it. What happens? Becomes a grouch. And what do? You treat him how? You treat him as a grouch. Okay, now what if behind their back, I say, hey, excuse me, Mahango, have you ever met Jacob? Oh, you don't want to. That's not true, by the way. Okay. What am I doing? Yeah, thank you. I'm creating a trash talk zone.
Yeah.
And now we're supposed to be in a no trash talk zone. So if that's what we're trying to do, what am I doing? So are words powerful?
Yes.
Because let's switch it. What if I said, oh, get to know Pete. He's a fabulous guy. He works with athletes. He's wonderful. You will learn so much from him. What happens? You look forward to meeting Pete, right? If I say, should I do both of you so you guys feel better? All right, let's do everybody. Make you feel better, okay? I got to fix myself. Got it. All right, get to know Jacob. How many of you know Jacob? He's the most driven individual I've ever met, knowledgeable, creative, and thinks outside the box.
Wow.
Okay.
I want to meet him.
You want to meet him?
Yeah.
He's over there.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. The next activity, you're partners. Okay. Get to know Rodney. Rodney, raise your hand. This is Rodney. When I first met Rodney, the first thing he did was give me a hug. He's genuine. He's kind, and he always smiles.
Wow.
Look at him. He's smiling right now. Okay.
Smile when you call him a grouch.
You know why? Because he knew it wasn't true. He has that positive affirmation in him. Doesn't matter what I say. But the point is our words are powerful. Our words can affect how we think of other people, how we think of ourselves, how we treat other people. So those simple things, when you're walking around, you're talking about somebody and you go, oh man, I talked to Philip. Ugh. I didn't even have to use words, did I? By the way, I love Philip. The point is our words have meaning. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some negative words and we're going to turn them into positive. You're going to come up with a list of negative words. We're going to do it as a group. And then you're going to do something else to turn them into positive. Does that sound good? All right. Look on your book at page 10. You see where it says replace negative words with positive down in the middle? Okay, gives you an example of negative. Look at the right side. It says, I can't. Who would like to come up here and write them all down? Oh, I'll give you a prize, for goodness sakes. Okay, thanks, Tim.
There you go. It works.
Okay. Get this woman purple. Here, we have to move this way so it's in the camera. All right, give us some negative words.
Hate.
Hate.
Stupid.
Stupid.
Lame.
Idiot.
Lazy.
Lazy.
Ugly.
Ugly.
Dumb.
Dumb.
Loser.
Okay, slow down.
They're pretty good, man.
Dumb. Dumb.
Broke.
Got into this group.
Broke.
Yeah, broke is a good one.
Broke.
Broke.
What else?
Lonely.
Lonely. Mean.
There's one I did. Fat.
Fat. Fat. Angry. Whatever.
IOUS.
I don't know. That's why I said angry. All right, that's good. Now here's what's interesting. We're not going to do this right now, but if I were to ask you right now to come up with a list of positive words in a normal group, it'd be half this. It amazes me. Amazes me how easy it is to come up with negativity. All right, so write down some of those that you've heard or your own. Write that on your list. You can use some of these if you want for negative, or you can write your own. And what we're going to do is you're going to figure out how to turn some of these into positive. So we'll do one as a group. Hate's a pretty easy one. So instead of going, I hate, so-and-so, or I hate doing that job, or I hate this, or I hate that, what could we say? I love it. What if we truly, truly do hate it?
Fake it till you make it.
Fake it. Very good. Fake it till you make it. Put it this way. If I started today, and before I began, let's just pretend I did this, because I didn't do this, but let's pretend before I walked up here, before I started teaching you, I went, oh my gosh, what if I screw up? This is going to be terrible. I hate teaching. I don't know how I'm going to do. Da-da-da. What if I did all of that on the way up? What would have happened? You guys would all be sleeping right now. And you better not be sleeping, by the way. You would have all been sleeping. Because I would have given that to you. Because the words we're using is direct reflection of what we're going to be. The words that we choose to describe people, describe things, is direct reflection. How do we turn into positive? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to break into groups. But again, I know you love the people that are next to you, but on them. No, I'm kidding. We're going to switch. Not really. We're going to switch. The front row is going to partner with the back row, and the two middle rows are going to partner. So find somebody. Doesn't matter. Find somebody. And all I want you to do is pick 5 negative words and come up with their positive counterpart. What you don't do, the back row, come on up. Yeah. The back row, come on up. Gary, have a seat. The back row's coming in.
We're staying right here. No. Right.
The back row, come on up. Find a partner.
So we're supposed to think of 5 words as a group?
No, just as your partner, whoever your partner is.
All right, so we're supposed to take a negative one. All right?
There's our file.
Oh, that's good. Those my flip charts with like the stands.
What time is What time am I going to?
I told you that.
You said 3, but that's not right. Because it's already 3.
Oh, you started it. Okay, sorry. Thank you for asking.
Negative to positive.
Instead of playing, phenomenal.
Hey!
They did awesome.
Pardon?
They did awesome.
Oh, did you? What'd you come up with? I can't read it. Just read it to me.
Loser, winner, angry, happy, hate, love, ugly, beautiful, disheveled, and neat.
Ooh, I like disheveled. That's a good one.
So was Putz, but they didn't like it.
How about I have?
A lovable person, intelligent. Because Putz can mean so many things.
That's right.
All right, get listen. All right, what'd you say? How do you do it? Give so-and-so a round of applause.
Let's give Tammy a big hand of fun. It's kind of insincere.
That's true. All right, finish up. You got 1 minute. 1 minute, finish up.
It's pretty amazing.
You did a good job. You're I'll double your pay tomorrow.
Which one would you
They'll do
like
bad things just to get a
on the board?
Thank you.
That's okay. All right. Let's give phenomenal Howard a round of applause.
I have goals. I feel like Howard.
Yeah, right.
So
I
what
want to be tall like him.
was it difficult to come up with positive words that are the opposite of these?
No.
No, it's not hard, is it?
Nope.
It's not hard. So if all we do is just take that one negative word that's in our sentence and change it to positive, what impact will it have? This is where you answer. A huge impact. How will it affect somebody if I introduce somebody in a positive way? So I want to share with you this story. How many of you have ever heard of Zig Ziglar?
Yeah.
Okay. Zig Ziglar tells this great story. And what was interesting is I got to experience it live, firsthand with an individual. About, I'm not sure, probably 15 years ago, I was teaching at a company, and it's a automotive division of a company. And I got to speak with the president of the company, and his name was Ken. And he's a great guy. He's also an astronaut. He was the president of this automotive division. And we walk in. He meets me at the front door. We had to go up 20 floors or something of that nature. And when he meets me at the front door, there's always that gatekeeper person. I think they call them customer service people. Okay. And he says to me, and I'm just going to make up names because I can't remember. He says, "This is Tammy. Without her, we wouldn't have a business." And he did this throughout. We go up the floors, we get to his floor, and as we're walking through his floor, this particular time, they had cubicles. They don't have cubicles anymore, it's a little different. But they had cubicles, and he'd stop at one cubicle, and he said, "This is Gary. Gary is my manager. He makes sure everything's working well. He keeps all my employees where they need to be. He is a fabulous leader." And I'm like, "Well, hi, Gary." Right? And then he did that again with Justin, then he did it with the next person. All the other, there were 5 people. We get into his office, and I looked at him and I said, "Have you ever heard of Zig Ziglar?" And he goes, "Oh, yeah, I listen to Zig Ziglar all the time." I said, "Did you hear that from there?" And he goes, "Yes." I said, "What an impact." He says he heard the story from Zig of talking about introducing people in a positive way. And he made a decision that that's how he was going to introduce every person he meets. Honest to goodness, I saw him 2 years ago. And he says, "Terrific trainer, Toni, how are you?" And I'm like, I couldn't even come up with 3 T's, but he's still doing it. We're talking about 15 years later, he's still doing it. Great guy. But this was the part that I loved about him that he did. And he says he listened to Zig, this came from there, and some other things, and he learned a few others. But he had 10 pennies in one pocket. Every single solitary time that he gave a compliment, he moved the penny from one to the other. And I said, "What are you doing?" And he says, "Well, I make it a goal that I compliment my staff a minimum of 10 times throughout the day. And then when I get home, I make sure I do the same thing to my family. So by the end of the day, I've switched them back to the other side." I said, awesome. Just awesome. See how simple that is? Let me just tell you, he is now retired, but his staff still calls him. Still to this day. He's been retired over 5 years. His staff still loves him. What an impact you can make just by being positive.
That's right.
What an impact you can make on yourself by doing the same thing to you. We do so much focusing on what can I say good about Cassie? What can I say good about James? What can I say good about David? How about what can I say good about me? That's my challenge to you. All right, what questions or comments do you have at this point? Are you ready to move to the next step? Okay. Turn to page 11. does it mean to give a compliment?
Everything.
Everything. So I just go, hey, Tracy's great.
Specific, observable.
Specific. All right, so Tracy's really great. Oh, that's not specific? What am I supposed to be doing?
Tracy's a great speaker.
Tracy's a great speaker. What else?
Personalizing.
Personalizing it. Being specific, being detailed. That's a compliment, correct? Now, do all of you in this room know each other? Yes. Shake your head, yes. Okay, good. We're going to do an activity on compliments. And then when we're done with that activity, we're going to come back and we're going to discuss it, talk about how it makes you feel, and so on and so forth. But with that, the reason we're doing it is because how many of you stay at home, never leave the house, and sit like a hermit and do nothing? Yeah, I mean, that surgery is a whole different thing. Okay. There's people all around us. We come in contact with people all the time. How you leave them feeling is a great thing. How you leave people feeling. Somebody asked me, how do you want to leave people feeling? I said, I want them to leave saying, I want some of that. Not meaning they want me. They want the feeling, the attitude, the belief, that. I mean, that's what you want to leave people feeling. In order to do that, we need to compliment. And we don't get it enough. And there's so often times where I go, oh, there's some great things about Michael that I love. But guess what? I never tell Michael. But I tell Carl, and I tell David, and I tell Chuck, and I tell Gary, but I never tell Michael. Is that a problem? Yeah. Yes. Or I go, let me tell you about Michelle. But guess what? Michelle's not here, but I'll tell you all about her. She's wonderful. Isn't there a problem there? So you're about to do an activity where you get to tell everybody what you love about them. But there's some parameters on this activity. Are you ready? Think of some compliments about individuals, but you are not allowed to write a book. So think of 1 or 2 words that are positive that you could describe different people in this room. 2 words is your limit. Everybody got that? 2? Okay. You're going to get a piece of paper. My assistant, Jill, is going to pass out the paper. My lovely, wonderful, fabulous assistant, Jill. Let's give a round of applause to Jill. Now, at every row, there's tape. I'd like you to take a piece of tape. Take a piece of tape, put it on the paper like this, and stick it to your friend's back. Help each other out. Put the piece of paper on each person's back. The tape is on everybody's row, so you got to pass the tape.
Duct tape? Yeah.
Justin socks and it made me think I
Jacob, his fake.
Chet Atkins' cattle call was on the radio and he wanted to sing it to
Can I
me.
tell them experiences that they had with this activity? Or
Yes,
do you
no,
want me to stick?
Research is all about best practices.
Okay, let me tell them. Okay.
We need one more piece of paper.
They need another piece of paper over here.
Yeah, we have more paper. We have more paper.
Okay, we're going to take off the trainer hat for a minute, and I just want to tell you guys a couple of things. What, do you need something? Okay. Okay, I just want to tell you a couple of things from my experience. I did this activity with all women, and they had like really nice dresses on and things of that nature, so I now carry cardstock paper because they were freaking out about it was a good thing about the pen going through and things of that nature. So normally I didn't want to travel it here because we all have it, but just so you know, I use cardstock paper now all the time, and I provide markers because the cardstock paper won't go through the marker, and then you don't have to press hard with the marker. So that's one side note for you guys to do. The other thing is I know we're in the middle of the class, so by this time everybody should know each other or have a feel of who they are. But in the Building Winning Relationships class, I think this is the first thing, and somebody had asked me, what if they don't know each other? I I don't tend to always do it at the very beginning in the class, but I have done it twice at the very beginning, and I'll tell you what I did. The first thing I did is I did my hello old friend thing where everybody runs around and says hello old friend, and then right after that, before I do the compliments, this is what I do. I say, all right, how many of you know each other very, very well? And people say, well, no, not really, not very many. And then I go, okay, this is your chance to get to know people and figure out what you love about them. So I'm going to give you 1 minute to run around the room and get to know as many people as you can and think of something you like about them. And then after that minute, I have them sit down, and then I do the compliment exercise. And I say, now go to those same people, and whatever it was you found that you liked about them, write it down. Write it down. That works really, really well. It's a great opener. It gets people moving. It gets people talking. So there you go. Okay? All right. Pardon? Yeah. I always limit them. That's the other thing. I always specifically say 2 words. And the only reason is because I teach a lot of just women sometimes. Don't worry, wrong, I'm a woman. And you get these books, on there. And so like that person, they only get 1 thing written on them because no one else got that time. So I've limited it. I just say 2 words. Some people do 3, some people, but I always say you're limited to 2 words. It just gets people thinking of words. Anything else before we do the exercise? Okay, that was the no more trainer. Matt's going ahead. He's already writing on Julie's back. You see how he is? That's the eye there. Okay. Yeah. All right.
I didn't hear that. I was working.
All right. So. Depending on the group, like this group, I'll tell them you can't write kick me, but we've already talked about positive, so everybody knows it should be positive. And then because of the way these tables are laid out, I'm going to tell you right now what I'm going to have you do. But because of the way tables are laid out, the beauty is that these are on wheels, but most of the time the tables aren't on wheels. I don't have that experience. So before I even started out, which we're going to do, I make everybody stand up and move out. And then start it. Because otherwise, they end up only doing the people next to them. Ooh, I didn't think of that. That sounds like fun. Shoot, let's do it. Why not? All right. When I say go, trainer hat on. Okay, here's the deal. Wait a minute. You're going to have a stop noise. When you hear the stop noise, whoever gets back to their seat first gets a prize. Okay? I don't know. I got to make it up. Hold on. So, shush. Now, here's what we're going to do. By the way, exactly what I'm doing, I do this in my regular classes, so don't think it's just because of you guys. I have a pretty good rapport with my students that I do tell them shush. Okay. All right. When I say go, you're going to think of 2 words to compliment the individuals. Okay. Then when you hear the noise, I don't know how that's going to come on microphone, but when you hear that noise, the first person that gets back to their seat gets a prize. Now, in order to make this happen, you're all going to stand up, you're going to walk out of there, and then you're going to start.
What was that noise again?
Yeah, exactly. All right, go ahead.
That really makes an impression.
You guys can start because you're not going to get there for a while.
Where's your husband?
Does that blah, 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 blah noise really annoying?
No. It lowered significantly the volume of your voice.
Okay.
So
We're okay. I'll go back up there. I'll tell them all. Yes, ma'am? Okay. Come on back. Come on back. Come on back. Pete, you're done. Get moving. Thank you for doing such a great job, David. Now go have a seat.
Yeah, that's true.
The train is still coming.
Yes. It always ends up at
Yes, you can take your sign off your back. Here. You can take your sign off your back, yes. David, I appreciate your thoroughness. Please have a seat.
All y'all.
Chuck, thank you. Please have a seat.
Thank you, thank you.
You can go.
You can take it off your back.
Oh, really?
And yeah, so she was there.
Tony, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. You're good. Don't worry.
It's cold. Hey man, I'll put something nice on your back.
I don't know what it's doing for me.
You right?
You can take it off your back. Read it. Take it off your back. Read it.
Right.
Here's your prize. Here's your prize, Miss Michelle.
Oh, thank you. Oh, really?
All right. Give a round of applause to Michelle Prince for being the first one back. Michelle was the first one back. Okay. So that she has great listening skills. Did anybody write that down on there?
She was just closer.
Yeah, her seat was closer. We're not bitter.
Okay, read the compliments. Read the compliments. Read the compliments on your paper. Read what your paper says. Now, anybody want to admit in your head you're going, that's just not true? Okay.
I got 3 on mine that aren't true.
Let's hear 'em.
Nice haircut. Nice hair. Great haircut. And I know who the ringleader is.
All right, so did you notice, for those of you that do the exercise, or you guys have done it, for those of you who have done this exercise, you notice how it's kind of tough with a pen and a piece of paper? So if you have the ability to, wherever it is you go, grab cardstock paper and put it, use that, and markers, I highly recommend it. The markers are great, just real thin, simple markers, you know. I've never had an issue with tape except for, well, that's not true. I've had an issue one time. So the question was, is the tape okay? I've had a tape issue one time doing it, and it was because it was Michigan, it was winter, and everybody had like little sweaters, you know, like real, but what was interesting is they didn't want to tape it because they were afraid that that would come off, you know, or like pull the sweaters or whatever it is, you know. So when I have that issue, because it's cardstock paper, I just let them carry it around. You know, it's kind of awkward to do that though, to carry it. It's just not. Yeah, you see what the person writes, but.
A little string and punch 2 holes in it. And you just hang it around your neck.
That's a great idea. I probably won't do it, but a great idea. Oh, Ken stated to put 2 hole punches on each side of the piece of paper, put a string on it. I'm just thinking to myself. But anyway, and put it around their neck. And hold it. Hey, come here. I really do like you.
Nice.
Yes. Pardon? I wish what do you say?
Fishing line, I do well.
I won't repeat that one in the mic. This activity, So as a side note, this activity is great for anything that you're doing. If we do women's retreats, we do this at the event. If I have youth, I do this. When I do it with youth, how many of you, anybody ever done this with youth? Yeah. Okay, I make a stipulation that we've just talked about positive, and I really go into what a compliment is and discuss all the aspects of a compliment, because it's amazing how many youth don't know how to compliment.
Yeah. I feel that hanging this on my bathroom mirror is very important to me rather than hanging that.
We were about to do that. Very good. Good job. That's in my presentation. Thank you. Okay. Any others? I did.
See what happens when you have a whole bunch of people in there.
Yeah. So how did reading the compliments make you feel? They make you feel good, don't they? They lift you up. So here's my question. You're having a bad day. Everything's not going well. Just want the day to be over. What's a way to lift you up?
You read this.
You take this nice little piece of paper out and you read it. What if you don't know where the piece of paper is?
Take a picture and save it on your phone.
Beautiful. Man, you guys are great. Take a picture and put it on your phone.
Yeah.
Or, what's that thing that we look at every day?
Mirror.
The mirror. Put it on your mirror. Just so you're aware, I will say one thing. Not a lot of people are used to compliments and positive thinking, and it can be overwhelming to them. So if you have more than one bathroom, I would suggest you don't put it in your public bathroom. Although I love doing that because it creates conversation when people come over to my house. But I know some people will feel Pete's looking at me funny. This is a true. You want the story? Yeah. Okay. So come over my house. Use the bathroom sometime. Okay.
Come over and use my bathroom. No.
Could you see it? I mean, seriously, not gonna show you.
Guys, hurry up.
Oh. I could just so see Matt's going, I'm driving through, I just need your toilet.
Tony's not home. Gotta go. She said I could use your bathroom.
Hey, I know Tony's not here, I just need your toilet, I'll leave. I'm sorry.
Or live streaming it.
All right, anyway, the point, but that is true. Okay, it's true. So I will tell you the story. I have a bathroom in my bedroom, and then we have a bathroom that's open to anybody, and my affirmations are on my bathroom mirror everywhere, okay? So every mirror that's in the house, I don't have that many, but they're in there. So I had a individual come over who doesn't know me very well. My husband works in law enforcement. If you know anything about that world, they need them, but they don't have positive affirmations on their mirror. They have targets and lots of other interesting things. I won't tell you what's on my husband's mirror, but anyway. So he's a firearms trainer, and Justin would love this. He loves to smoke meat. And so we had a smoking party, barbecue party, things of that nature. And so there was a whole bunch of individuals that were my husband's friends that came over, and they went, this is their words, dude, what is on your mirror? I'm like, what are you doing? And then they kind of were like, you're a softie, you're this, that, and the other. And I just used that as my opportunity to start training, and he shut me up, but that's okay. I used it. And so I actually use it as conversation. So here's the guy sitting around talking whatever they're talking about work and talking about guns, so on and so forth. And the one guy comes back from the bathroom and looks at my husband and says, Aaron, dude, what was on your mirror? And he goes, talk to my wife. And I'm like, woohoo! Hi, everybody. And I just told them, I said, but see, for me it was pretty easy because I know the law enforcement world, and the way I worded it to them was I said, every day you guys are dealing with criminals. And I said, yeah. I said, do you take it home? They go, yeah, they do. It's tough in the world that they live in. It's tough to separate work from home. So I said, is it tough to work with criminals? They said, yeah. I said, yeah, it's tough to come home. It's tough to separate that day from that day. It's tough to separate work from family life. So the beauty of these affirmations, it gives you the opportunity to say, I'm home, here's who I am, here's what real people are like, not all the criminals that are spitting in your face, yelling at you, screaming at you. And I said, you guys need this more than anybody. Mm-hmm. So use it as your opportunity, okay? The key is it doesn't matter what you do. So it's a great opportunity. So seriously, if you're driving by my house one day and need to use the bathroom, you are welcome. But please stay and enjoy, okay?
Give us your address.
Pardon?
I did this workshop, and there were some teachers and high school counselors in there. They took that activity, and they reported back to me that they are now using it with their high school students. And middle school
Awesome.
students.
That's
And,
awesome.
How they're seeing the difference that simple exercise makes.
Right.
In, changing the life of a child.
Okay, so I'm going to
In my kindergarten class.
do it in the kindergarten. Awesome. Yeah. All right, so what makes up a compliment? If you look in your book on page 11 at the key points, this is what we're going to discuss real quick. What is the beauty of a sincere compliment? We've kind of already talked about it, so let's just summarize it for a moment. We enjoy hearing positive feedback about ourselves. It doesn't make us conceited. It makes us what? Human. It's okay to compliment yourself. All right. Second one, you were designed for accomplishment, engineered for success, and endowed with the seeds of greatness. Plant seeds of positive thinking, positive talk. Okay. We are motivated to try harder when we understand others' positive expectations of us. It's true. Compliments need to be sincere, or they can become what? Manipulative. Mahango, I love you. Would you please? Not good, right? Okay, yeah. We accept a compliment by what? Thank you. It's the hardest thing for some people to do. Maybe some of you in this room, right? Somebody says, this is what I like about you. What should your response be? Thank you. But what do many people do? Yeah, hey, I love your sweater. This whole thing, that just puts the compliment down. If you ask yourself, why doesn't anybody compliment you? Maybe it's because you're not saying thank you. Because after a while, the more you put a compliment down, the more people do not want to compliment you. Okay? We develop strong relationships with each other by focusing on what is good in the person, not what is bad. How many of you ever heard the phrase good finder? Yeah. Look for the good in others, not the bad. When we look for the good in others, we build relationships. We build our self-image. We build all aspects of this. It starts with you, then it trickles to everybody else. Would you agree? Yeah. All right, what comments or questions do you have at this point? Okay. I didn't bring them with me because in my head I forgot them. But you know the I like because cards? This would be the time that I gave them to you. So can you pretend with me? Okay. Oh, do we? Oh, yeah, duh.
I know where the door is.
They'll toss you.
For you today.
Okay, while she's doing this, I'd love to tell you guys, can I tell you a story? If you don't know about me, I used to be a figure skating instructor, and still in my heart I am. And I was a competitive figure skater growing up. Never had the dream of going to the Olympics. My coach had that dream. And at 16, I decided I didn't want to skate anymore. And my coach let me go under her wing and start teaching. So I started teaching skating when I was 16 and taught it until my 5-year-old, I was pregnant with my 5-year-old. So I don't know how long that was, 20 years. And less than that, whatever. Point is as I started teaching skating, there's something that happens to kids. It doesn't matter, 10 years ago, this year, it doesn't matter. We have this self-esteem issue that occurs. And in athletes, it happens quite a bit because they're being judged every single solitary day, right? Every single solitary day, an athlete is being judged. And especially in the skating world, what you look like, the way you walk into a rink, the way you present yourself, you're being judged from the moment you walk in the ice. I mean, I had to walk into a rink a certain way. If I was having a bad day, I had to fake a smile. Okay, because if a judge saw you, you'd get marked down. You didn't even compete yet. Okay, so there's all this going on, and there's this mental thing. So what I started doing with my skaters when I was 20 is I started doing a mental class with my skaters and teaching them about mental things of that nature. And I stole a lot of it from Ziegler. I gave him all the credit at the time. But those I like because cards I made my own. Okay, and it was I like because. And here's what the most interesting thing is. All my skaters received them, And their goal was to, at every single solitary competition, they had to give at least one person they competed against an I like because card. That was the requirement. Okay, so this part makes me emotional, so I'm telling you up front. But here's the beauty of this. I got to attend the wedding of one of my skaters. That's a whole nother thing. Whew, I didn't realize it was that old. But regardless, she calls me, she says, Toni, I'm getting married. She found me on Facebook. I would love you to attend. I want to show you something. So she has her wedding dress on, and she has her cute little purse. And she opened up her purse. What do you think was in it? Every I like because card she has ever received from skating. She made a little treasure chest when she was young, and every time she got one, she put it in there. And every time she had a bad day, because she had trouble at school, every time she had a bad day, she'd go home, open up the treasure chest, and read them. And she says, it's because of these that I met my husband. And so, okay, I cried because she said she was having a terrible day, and she met this guy, and he gave her this wonderful compliment. And I said, okay. And so she said she went home and she wrote the compliment down, and she put it in her treasure chest. And she remembered this gentleman, and they went to college together. So they were in the same class, and every time he saw her, and they were sincere, he wasn't doing it to date her. Okay, they were true compliments. And he kept complimenting her, she kept writing them down, right? And one day he asked her on a date, and within like their fourth or fifth date, she showed him all these little things, said, these are all these things, do you really mean it? She did. She goes, do you really mean all these? And he went one by one, everything she wrote down, and told her why he liked those things about her. Amazing story. Amazing guy, first of all. And so she had it in her purse. That's what she got married with. It's an amazing thing. You have no idea the impact that these little sincere compliments we give to people now, how they can affect them in their future. That's right. Okay. So, all right. So all of you, okay, back to this. So all of you have these nice little cards in front of you. So I just gave you a chance to write compliments on everybody's back. You now have the opportunity to do this in everything that you do and everywhere you go. The I like because cards work this way. You write I like with the individual's name, and then you write because. Some people don't like the word like. Cross it out, put I appreciate. Whatever word it is that you like. Okay? I recommend you sign your name. I recommend you sign your name if you can. So at the bottom, sign your name, fold it up, and give it to them. Whenever you see somebody doing something wonderful, write it and give it to them. I carry mine with me everywhere I go. So I tell this story all the time, so if you've heard the story, I apologize. But at DFW Airport, how many of you have ever been to Dallas? Okay. How many of you have ever rented a car in Dallas? All right, so when you go to DFW Airport and you want to rent a car, you have to get in this little shuttle bus, and then it shuttles you to the rental car area. And then when you return your car, you park your car, and then you take the shuttle bus back. There's this wonderful woman, if you ever get her in your shuttle bus, write her a card. She's fabulous. So she drives a shuttle bus, and she talks and tells you all these fun little facts, makes you laugh the entire ride, so that 10 or 15-minute ride feels like it was 30 seconds long. She takes you from the rental car area to the airport part, and you laugh and you giggle the whole time. She has a great attitude, and I can't remember any of her jokes, but she says them all. So I wrote her an I like because card. I got off the little shuttle. I handed it to her. I kept walking. She ran me down. Okay, she did run me down. She literally ran me down, grabbed me, put me in a bear hug, and my feet were up in the air, and then put me back down, and she goes, no one has ever said that about me. I said, well, thank you. You entertain me. So I look for her. Like if I see the shuttle bus, but I don't, I'm going to get my rental car and go. But if she's there, I love it when she's there. I've had her twice so far. So if you see her, if you're ever at the Dallas airport, I highly recommend you do that. Okay, so little things like that can make a huge impact. Any questions, comments that you have at this point? All right, let's go to our final page, page 12. Are relationships important? Yes. Okay. Are some good? Yes. Are some bad? Yes. Yeah, we have good relationships, we have bad relationships. The beauty of bad relationships is what? We can We can change them, we can learn from them, we can build on them. And then we have wonderful relationships. What can we learn from positive relationships? How to get more. Okay, we talked about selling this morning. If you want to learn how to sell, learn how you built those relationships. Learn how they got positive. So I'd like you to take a moment, and this time you're going to actually get in the groups with the people next to you. Okay. So with the person next to you, I just want you to go over the questions on page 12. Identify your favorite and most valued relationship. Why does the relationship work? What are the qualities that make it so pleasing? How many of the qualities you listed above can be replicated to improve other relationships? And with whom do you want? Skip the last one. Don't do the last one yet. Don't do the last question. Okay? Any questions? So just get with the person next to you. Go ahead, Howard.
Does that include family members?
Anybody. You guys can be a threesome. You want to be a threesome? You guys want to be a threesome or? Yeah. Okay.
Adding the slide right
Yeah. I just had an idea. Is that all right?
Sure.
How's it going, ladies? Excuse me, sir. How's it going?
It's going good. It's wonderful.
Are your eyes okay?
It's an emotional moment we're having here. You can make fun of him if you want. Call him a yay and see him in my bed with.
You know, when I have to have my makeup done, I have to get those put in my eye before the makeup every time.
My lenses replaced mine. Had a piggyback lens put on top of the lens. Lubricated.
Got it. How are you guys doing? Good.
I've had to get really close to someone, and it was Heavenly Father. He's keeping me straight, sane, happy.
Way where it's ready to relationships work. And for my husband and I, because we made a commitment to be a partnership for life. So we had that commitment.
That's what helps bring the security.
Then it would be my daughter,
taken all of these to be replicated to improve other relationships. And a commitment to this class.
Would you like to say that? Because I was going to say that. Would you like to say that? That all of these replicate all relationships that are good when I find
Yes. So, you know, I have a lot of good business. I just always felt like
I love one more or less. I just love them differently.
Thank you. I just need my purse.
Hey, Toni.
Yeah.
You're killing it out there.
Pardon?
You're killing it out there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't need my purse. I just needed this, and it's right there.
I'm so do what?
I needed my phone for something. I thought somebody called. I'm expecting a call at 4:10. Actually, a text. And I was expecting right away.
You know, it's not, you know, like someone something was too hot.
Excuse me, sir. Are you still
Somebody
awake?
leave the iron on.
Are you still awake?
Yes, ma'am.
Just making sure.
Nicely done. Nicely done.
Thank you. All right, you have exactly 10 seconds.
To get a hold of me.
See, I even have a timer. I didn't bring any of that stuff. I have a timer that plays music when it beeps. Do you have that? I'll have to give you. I'll have to email and send it to you.
Yeah, you can get it on you. They even have one you can get that looks like a...
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Thank you. Is this Keynote? Yes. That's what this is. Thank you. All right. So here's the question. Why do these relationships work? What'd you come up with?
Transparency.
Transparency, selfless,
Mutual investment.
mutual investment,
Security.
security,
Trust.
trust,
No judgment.
no judgment, fun. What are the qualities that make these relationships so pleasing? Easy to get along with, not stressful.
Bring out the best in each other.
They bring out the best in each other. Any others?
Loving.
Loving. They're fun. So the next question, how many of the qualities you listed above can be replicated to improve other relationships?
Everyone.
Very good. Now, Tammy had an interesting statement that she was saying with her groups, and she said she's willing to share it. So I'm going to make you talk into my microphone.
Actually, where's the camera now on here? I don't remember what I said. Actually, what? Oh, right. Okay. Oh, right. Thank you. Well, the comment was that just there's a commonality with all of these of what works and the qualities, and that all of it can in fact be replicated. So very much just what everyone else said.
There's a commonality amongst all the relationships. If I were to say, all right, what's the relationship with so-and-so that's good? What about the relationship that you have that's good with so-and-so? All your positive relationships, you'll probably see a commonality amongst all of them. So when you have a poor relationship or one that just doesn't seem to be working, maybe one is you need to walk away from it. The other one might be look and see what the qualities that make it good and figure it out. Yes, sir? Go ahead.
Into your mind.
Tom Ziegler, you are now banned.
I don't want to die.
Excuse me, sir. We will talk out there.
I have two things to say to you. Go.
Better? Yeah, it's fine. This happens every time I teach, so it's okay. I can take it. It's okay. If you teach all men, it's really quite interesting. All right. Well, you know that. Yeah. So look at the last question. With whom do you want to build a winning relationship? What is something specific you can do to begin to create a positive relationship? I'd like you to think about that. You won't have to share it with the group. Okay. But I actually want you to write it down. And the reason I want you to write it down is because there's something about commitment. When you take pen to paper, you're more committed. So think about who you need to build a winning relationship. It could be a client that you want to build. It could be a customer. It could be a family member. It could be a friend. Whoever that is, who is it? It could be somebody in this room that you would like to build a winning relationship with, and what can you do to improve it? So take a pen, put it on paper, go ahead and write it down. And you won't have to share it with anybody in the room. Just one person. One at a time. One at a time.
I love you, Matt.
Are you going to come back here and intervene or what?
This is not out of control, just so you're aware. I've seen out of control. This isn't it. My theory is I'd rather have a class have fun.
Yeah, seriously.
You know, this is fine. If you get a class where everybody doesn't know each other and they're that comfortable by the end, you succeeded. All right. So let's talk about what we talked about so far, and then we'll summarize and go from there. We talked about the number one input that we have is what? What's yourself? Yourself. And we need to change that self-talk. Anytime you hear negative, change it to positive. Because interestingly enough, 2/3 of most people's self-talk is negative. 2/3 of most people's self-talk is negative. So we want to change that from negative to positive. What is one of the ways we're going to change it from negative to positive? We're going to write down positive affirmations, right? We're going to tell somebody else about that positive affirmation to make us accountable to it, correct? Okay. And then we're going to put it on our mirror, wherever, in our purse, on our phone, whatever, that you look at on a regular basis. And say it every day. Then we talked about relationships and the power of words. Are they powerful? Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So I want to give you a couple cute little things. This is from an individual that I admire, Zig Ziglar. It's on a tape, on his tape set that he had years back. Okay. Changing negative words to positive. How many of you eat bread? Not everybody, I know. So you get the loaf of bread. What's that first slice called? The heel. Shh. The heel. The end. The butt. Yeah, you hear that all the time. I always get that one. Would you like the butt slice?
James is back.
So our first slice of bread, we're eating the heel. The first slice of bread we're eating is the butt, and the first slice of bread we're eating is not real good, is it? So how about we change it from the butt or the heel to the beginning slice? Simple, right? Changing our words. Okay. Simple things that we can change. Now I know you all know this one, so just pretend you don't. What is that thing that goes off in the morning that wakes you up? Alarm clock. Good, alarm clock. So what are we going to call it now? Opportunity clock. Opportunity clock. The phone. It's your opportunity phone.
Hey, I have a question. How many people use their iPhone as their
opportunity phone?
Okay. How many of you guys have changed the label from alarm to opportunity?
Okay. I didn't even know you could do that. You can do that. Oh, do that. That's great.
How do you do it?
Put that down.
The older generation.
You can do that?
Yeah, put that down. Yeah. Howard, that will be a class Howard will be teaching at 5:30. Okay. All right, so the point is taking simple words that we use every day and changing them to positive can have that effect. Building relationships, complimenting each other, loving on each other. How may I help you, Kanya?
Julie said that
As long as everybody has an iPhone, that would work. Yes, I think it's a great idea. If they have it, yeah. Offer that as a break activity. You know, we're about to go to break, let's change it, or something of that nature. All right, so here's your homework. You guys have it. Your number one homework is you will be together today and tomorrow. You need to find a minimum of 3 people in this room that you write an I like because card to and give it to them. 3 people. Okay? The other aspect of your homework is to take those affirmations or the compliments and put them somewhere where you will see them on a daily basis and use it. And then you have one more piece of homework. Tomorrow, when you wake up in the morning, do you want to do it for me? No? Okay. When you wake up in the morning, if you're staying at a hotel and you go to the bathroom, if you're staying at your own home, you go to the bathroom, I want you to look at the mirror and I want you to say, "Good morning, beautiful." Can everybody do that? Let's try it. Stand up. Stand up. Now I've lost control. 1, 2, 3. Good morning, beautiful. All right, have a seat. Good. So I want to leave you with this one thought before we go into our next topic, which will be goals, which will be taught by somebody else. Well, before we go on to our next topic, which is goals, I want to leave you with this one thought. I'd like you all to take your hand, put it out, and make a fist with your thumb sitting in front. I want you to put your thumb out like you're saying, you know, whatever, thumbs up. Now look at your thumb, and on the count of 3, I want you to say, "I am thumb buddy." 1, 2, 3. I am thumb buddy. Thank you guys. Have a great day. Oh, I forgot the little slide I made. Oh well.
Just go, let's see it.
I wanted a picture of a thumb, but I couldn't find one, so I don't know where it is. Oh, there you are. How do you shut this off?
Just leave it like that.
Okay.
All right.
I know everybody's trying to figure out how to change their alarms. Howard, you'll have to do a little class for us.
It's very simple.
Well, not this moment.
Right.
But you'll have to do a little class for us.
Yeah.
All right, so who enjoyed Toni? Let's show them.
Thank you.
There are so many things I could point out that she did well. I'm just going to take a few. One is that I like that she made the slide deck her own. And she said, "Oh, I shouldn't show them because they don't have a blue background." And I said, "Well, all you do is use the blank slide." And she goes, "Oh, I forgot." So when you want to add slides, you can use the blank slide, and then that makes it all coherent. I will tell you though, very few times have I ever had someone come up at the end of the class and go, "Your slides are much."
They do their C.
But because you guys signed an agreement that you would, going forward, make everything. So I like the fact that she personalized it, and I really want to encourage you guys to do that so that you can really feel comfortable with what's up there and what's going on with that. She did a beautiful job of keeping control of such a large group, and a rambunctious group at that. And so I want to point out to you how she did that, because some of y'all, I agree with Toni, somebody must have said over here, "Whoa, we're out of control," and she's like, "This is not out of control." And this was not out of control, and it was because of what she did. So I want to point out to you how she kept this large group in control. First of all, whenever she had you stand up to do anything, she gave very specific instructions, and she repeated them. So that there was no, when you stand up, there was no going, "What are we doing? What are we doing? I don't know. Well, how are you? Oh, Justin, tell me that story." And you got off track. So that's one of the ways that you stay in control, is by being very specific with what you want them to do, and then repeat it. She used timing perfectly to keep you guys in control. So she said, "Stand up and do this. All right, sit down." Then she got you back in control, did some things. "Stand up and do this. You got 5 minutes," or I love that, "You're going to hear blah, 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 blah," or whatever that, I don't know the noise.
I have a duck whistle normally, but I didn't bring it.
Okay, to keep you in control. So those are things that you can take back and use also. And then the last one was just she used her voice. Of course, she got her voice louder or quieter. I had not heard Brian do this morning. I was like, I'm going to try that. He went, I was like, what? And y'all all went, what? And everybody got quiet. I thought that was interesting. Again, those are the kinds of techniques you can use to control a big group or a fun group. A group that knows each other is just naturally going to be a little rowdier. And that's great because you can, all the energy doesn't have to come from you, right? And one other thing I want to point out, I wrote tons of things that she did well, but that she made it a really safe environment for you guys to participate, so that you didn't feel like if I say something, is she going to ding me? Is she going to make fun of me? Is there going to be sarcasm or snide remarks? And everybody will laugh, and the person you did the snide remark to will laugh, but they won't participate again if they're that kind of person. These C's are very sensitive, but they'll never show you. And so you may think all day long, they're loving it. But they're never going to tell you, and they're never going to show you. So you need to be aware that even though sarcasm is funny, it needs to be a no talking trash zone, which I love that, because if everybody knows each other, it's really easy for everybody to start talking trash, and then you kind of lose a little of the momentum of building relationships and all that sort of thing. So I thought that was really clever. Questions for Toni? How'd you know how to do it? I'll start with the first question because I always like this one. How did you prepare? How do you prepare?
You sure you want me to tell them how I prepared?
Oh, that's a bad question for Toni. Never mind.
Okay, no, I'll tell you.
I'm kidding.
Well, training, I'll tell you how I used to prepare.
Yeah,
is that better?
She's been training for a long time.
Okay, so, well, I'll show you. I did something. I list the talking points that I wanted to write, and then I liked, Carl had the picture of the slide. When you're teaching all day, I tend to almost forget about the slides after a while, so putting a picture of the slide would be good. But I italicize the spots that aren't talking points. They're just remember this slide or remember that or whatever, or it's an activity or this activity, those types of things. As far as preparation, I go through the book, and the first thing I do is figure out what materials I need and make sure I have all of those materials, and I make a list of those materials, and then when I have that list of materials, I write where those materials need to show up. Like this, I should have had these, I didn't even think about them, and truthfully until the end. So like the garbage can, I need a garbage can, I need tape, I need this and that, and then it will have where that material is going to be used, so that I know, okay, at break, I need to make sure I have this ready, because I don't like when trainers are preparing it well. So I was doing that stuff at break, but you didn't see it, or whatever, when you were doing the things on the back or things like that. I always read through the manual a few times, but my preparation is basically saying it over and over and over and over and over again in my head, at home, whichever. But for me, you got to do what you want to do. But for me, I try to steer away from the leader's guide when I'm preparing and read the student manual and figure out how I would do it. And then once I figure out how I would do it, then I go back to the leader guide and see what it adds so that it becomes me. Because the first time I ever started teaching, I was reading the leader's guide and I found I was teaching like the person that wrote the leader's guide instead of teaching like myself.
And what's the problem with that?
Because my name is not Jill.
That's right. No, that's a good tip. I like that.
So I didn't even bring the leader's guide here because I didn't need it, but
go through the student guide first of anything that you're teaching. I like that.
Yeah.
Come up with how you do it and then add into that. That's good. Anybody else have a question for? Oh, sorry. Anybody else have a question for Toni? Dave.
Have you ever taught building the best you and winning relationships to a really large crowd, like 150 people?
The most that I've ever taught, not the building the best you, because 8 hours to a lot of people doesn't do it. If I'm teaching a class, I limit it. So when I sell to a company, if I'm teaching for a company, I limit mine. It's a maximum of 25 students. I don't allow more than 25 students because of the interaction and so on and so forth. Because you guys all knew each other, but to create the interaction, to create where people are willing to stand up and speak and so on and so forth, I limit it. Because that's how I accomplish it. I've done building winning relationships to 110, and I didn't enjoy it. I enjoyed it. That's not true. I truly enjoyed it, but I didn't give 110 manuals out. I ended up just teaching it my way. So it was a 4-hour class, and I taught it to them, but it was more like a keynote address type feeling. But I still do the activities, as Julie knows. I've done many of the activities. We had 200 people at our event, and I still had 200 people doing different activities. I had them broken into groups of, I don't know how many there were, and they're like 15, 20 people in groups, and had them talking to everybody, and because that's my style. It's interactive. You're going to get involved. So it does, yeah. But when I sell it to companies, I always limit it to 25, and that's just a number I chose.
Somebody else?
Can I tell you one other activity? Just because I love activities. Can I give you one real quick?
Give us an idea. Give us an idea.
All right, I would have brought it with me. We were talking about that.
Oh, yeah, totally.
So this one's fun. This one's fun. You're doing self-image, right? It will work for self-image. It works for attitude. It works for goals. You can use it for anything. You get a little bucket like at the dollar store or some like cheap bucket and nails, and you just drive the nails into different spots of the bucket, and you fill the bucket up with water, and you have another bucket underneath that can catch the water. Okay? So you walk in and you say, here's the bucket. I have to do it like I'm teaching. Is that okay? I can't explain it. So we have a bucket here filled with water. How many of you have ever said something negative to yourself, or somebody has said something negative to you? Raise your hand. All right, so I just want you to guys yell out some of the negative things that you've heard. So just yell out some negative things.
Dumb.
Ugly.
You're dumb. Okay, so I would pull out a nail, and then water will start coming out. Then they'll say, you're ugly, or I'm ugly, and they'll pull out a nail. And I make them say negative things till every nail's out, and we just watch the water pour out into the bucket. And I tell them, I say, what happens when we hear all this negative? It just drains you to the point where, and then I show them the empty bucket, where you're empty. There's nothing in there. So how are we going to fill our bucket back up? So then I take the bucket full of water, put it on a table. I have a cup. The nails are back into the bucket. And I tell them to give me positive things. And I start filling it back up with water. And now the nails are in there, and it stays in there.
So it doesn't leak?
Doesn't leak. No, you just drive the nail into it. Don't put a hole and then put the nail in. Whatever I can find at Walmart. Sorry, I have no idea. I just find the real thin ones that fit into the bucket. Literally, this is, you want to know what I truly do? I take a real thin, like cheap bucket to the store and start putting nails in to figure out which one works at the time. Because when you're traveling, I don't travel a bucket. So I would go find the bucket when I arrive. Yeah, just a simple like a dollar store bucket. Like the sand pail. The sand pails. Is that a better way to put it? Like the sand pails.
That's a lot of water.
No, little sand pails. No, it's not on the floor.
Oh, I see.
Oh, no. Okay, I'm only 5 feet tall. A painter's bucket, you'd be like pin the nails down here. Okay. No, like a little sand pail. And I put, as far as nails, depends on the amount of people in my class, but anywhere from 5 to 8 nails.
I have a serious question.
Okay, all right. Tammy has a question. Let's see if it's about nails.
It's not about nails nor your shoes, but both are gorgeous. What is the status of your book being published?
My Bible study?
Of your book being published.
I have a Bible study coming out, and I rewrote the last chapter for the 4th time because it just wasn't what I wanted it to be. So now the final chapter is done. The illustrator has it, and it should be out by June 30th, no later than June 30th. Bible studies are a lot of work to do.
Can we pre-buy them today or tomorrow?
Can you pre-buy them? Yeah, you absolutely can. They're David, can they pre-buy my Bible? You can pre-buy it. When you pre-buy the Bible study, you pre-buy the okay, this is totally off subject. It's yes, but it's an instructor manual and a student guide. We separated it. It's 6 weeks with a what you call optional 7th if you want to use it.
Mark had a question.
I just want to tell Toni she nailed it.
Thank
You've been sitting on that one.
Did you say you had a question?
No.
Oh,
I do, but I'll ask you later.
Okay.
It wasn't a silly one. It was a real one.
But yes, you can pre-buy it. You can talk to me later.
Okay. All right, let's hear it for Toni.
Thank you. All right, can I turn this off now?
Let me tell you what the rest of the day holds for you, because it is. We are going to take a break. How's that for fantastic? We have dinner at at 6. And so when Kanya and Tom and I were discussing what we should be doing today, we thought, why let them out early and they go home for what purpose? So we're going to stay here until it's time to go to dinner. But we're going to do something very interactive, and you'll be involved, and you're not, you won't be asleep. There are 4 people at this break that need to go meet with Tom in the library. And I forgot to bring up my page, so say who it is real quick.
Mongo, Evan, Michael, and James.
Mongo, Evan, Michael, and James. You need to see Tom in the library.
You're in trouble.
With the wrench.
The rest of you, we're going to do a problem-solving group exercise. And so if you have a problem, meaning a business problem, if we may decide you have a problem, then you need to think about that. And if you would like to get feedback from other people, then you need to come prepared after the break and tell us what your problem is. Does that make sense? If you have some sort of problem that you're going to have a conundrum that you can't figure out,
A
and you like
ZLC presenting related problem.
a ZLC related problem that you would like some feedback on, then you need to come prepared to share that with us after the break. So we have a question about what's happening after the break.
Where's the library?
Behind Tom.
Oh, okay.
All right. Okay. So at 4:45, we will start back. Go outside and do some jumping jacks or something.
Hey, Carl.